Hello, and welcome to Women in Business, where we interview entrepreneurs and senior managers and show you the strengths, successes, obstacles, and roadblocks women experience in business. Since I believe every person in business needs to be visible, I'd like to invite you to watch www.sob6, that's the number 6, tips.com, which will give you some valuable information should you get the call to be on radio or TV, which I think is extremely important. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at Gayle Carson, that's Gayle, Gayle Carson 13 at gmail.com, or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. My guest today is Kim Daly. She's spent the last 20 years helping people achieve financial freedom by enabling them to find the perfect franchise opportunities. Her skill for matching clients' background, interests, skills, finances, and life goals to the ideal opportunity has made her one of the top franchise consultants in the country. Today, we are here to pick her brain and gain some insight into what can seem like a daunting process, deciding on the perfect franchise to enable you to gain financial freedom. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Dr. Carson. It's so wonderful to be here. My favorite subject, talking to women, empowering women. This is a great show for both of us to be offering. I think it's so great, and I'm so happy to be a guest.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to start off with maybe a controversial question for you, and that is why franchising is a safe investment, even in an uncertain economy. And the reason I'm asking you that, Kim, is because so many people have said, well, you're just buying yourself another job. Unless you can buy, like these mega franchises where you have 5, 6, 7, 8 locations, it's really just another job. So kind of enlighten us on that.
Oh, there's so many ways to respond to that. It's such a great question. So, first of all, if you go to the statistics that 90% of small businesses fail, that is before their 5th anniversary. That is a statistic that is not owned in franchising. So, any business that I would bring, a franchise business that I would bring to a candidate, we would get to look at that company's historical track record of success and or failure, which they have to disclose in a federally mandated document called a franchise disclosure document. Many of the companies that I've worked with for the last 18, 20 years have success rates greater than 90 or 95% over time. So that's the first part of that. So it's more safe because you're buying into this proven business plan that comes with leadership. Now, the second point of the question, and that you're just buying a job. Well, in some cases you can, but this is why I have a business. If that's not your goal, if your goal is to build wealth, to become the CEO of a company rather than the day-to-day widget master, if you will, then that's how I come into the equation to help people know, well, what kind of businesses are out there where I can come in as the CEO, even keeping my full-time job while I'm managing this business sort of part-time at night and on the weekends in the background, which gives people the opportunity to kind of straddle both worlds until the business is successful enough that it can they can live off of it. Then they can exit their corporate life and step into that business. But the cool thing at that point, Dr. Carson, is that when they get to that point, they don't have to go work in that business because the business has already been running without them. So they can leave their corporate job, have this business that's producing income that they can live off of. And now they really have options. They could take that business to the next level. They could come back to Kim Daly and we could find them another opportunity, or they could semi-retire.
Well, that's interesting. So are there businesses that are more adaptable for women that you find they're kind of drawn to?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's adapted to women, but certainly there are probably industries that women lean more toward. For example, I am obsessed with the maid service franchises because number one, I value the girls that come and clean my house, and I've had the same company for 8 years and almost the same 3 girls. It's a team of 3 girls who come to my house and so I'm like amazed at the leadership in this organization that these women stay in that role for that long in an industry that probably has really, really high turnover. So a woman is probably drawn to that kind of a business because we get it. We understand the value that it offers to a working woman when someone else is coming in to clean your shower every week and vacuum your floor. So I don't have to do it on the weekend. So there's that factor. But, I'm here to help people figure out what business would be a good match for them, not so much worried about what the business does, but connecting investors to organizations where there's a culture that they feel inspired by, because that's the main difference between going it alone as an entrepreneur and buying a franchise. Buying a franchise really is about buying into leadership, a culture, people that have a vision that you want to be a part of that. You want to bring their brand, their business plan to your market and be the brand ambassador in your community for this bigger entity. So in franchising, we say you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
So that's really, I guess, the value proposition in investing in a franchise. Have you seen people that have invested in franchise and then gone broke?
Well, of course, franchise businesses can still fail. But when candidates work with me, listen, I've been doing this for 18 years. And thank you for that introduction, by the way. I am blessed to help a lot of people. I am one of the top consultants in the country, just based on the sheer numbers of people that I'm blessed to help. And if I wouldn't do what I do as a good Christian woman with integrity if I thought I was setting people up to fail. And that's another part of why I have a business, is to lead my candidates to those franchisors that have a great track record of success. So if you show up mentally, financially, physically, and you do what you committed to doing, you will get an outcome. So, and also after 18 years of doing this, people will say, Kim, will you tell me if I'm not a good candidate? I'm like, no, because I cannot predict who will be successful. I have seen people with MBAs, prior experience, executives who drove businesses for other people come into franchising and never be able to really make anything of it on their own. On the flip side, I've had a few candidates over the years who I thought to myself, dear Lord, let these people please take themselves out of the process, who have gone on to become multi-millionaires. That's not an exaggeration. So success in a franchise is not correlated with previous experience, knowledge of the industry, having an MBA. It correlates to how bad do you want it? How coachable are you going to be, where you're going to follow the franchisor's lead? And then, like anything else in life, Dr. Carson, it's sticking with it. It's the consistency. When I was a personal trainer in college, and people used to say, well, what's the best exercise to get in shape? I'd be like, well, the one you're going to do consistently. So the same thing in franchising. If you're not fully committed to your goal to own a business in good times and bad, you may fail. But if you're committed, no matter what, whether you're in the valley or you're on the mountaintop, how are you going to fail?
Well, that's true. Now, let's bring us to the present, where we're in this pandemic. Are people still investing in franchising at this point, or has it slowed down?
That's such a great question. So it depends on who you ask. Again, because I have a very large network of referrals. I helped an amazing number of people. We're coming here to the end of the second quarter, and I was right where I normally am in a non-pandemic time. So I actually had 12 people say yes since April 1 through today, but that's not what a lot of other consultants probably have experienced. That's a lot of experience. Listen, I was a consulting during 2008, 2009, 2010, when the economy looked very much like it does, minus the pandemic, the economy part. But, historically, when unemployment is high, franchising does very well because people are without a job. They're not sure they can get paid what they're worth, because there's so many other people they're competing with for a job. And so many people who have that entrepreneurial spin will look for another opportunity. And franchising can provide that safety net for them to start a business and feel comfortable. So yes, people are still investing in franchising. The reason is, Dr. Carson, because when you say yes to a franchise today, your life does not change tomorrow, right? This is investing for the future. So from signing a franchise agreement to opening a business could take you 4 months, 6 months, 1 year, depending on if you need real estate or how much training there is. So the people that were saying yes in April and May through my process, what I had them do was ask their particular franchisor, from signing to opening, what is the usual time frame? And when people were hearing 4 months or 6 months or a year, they were like, oh, well, I need to get going now then in order to be in position. So when the world does come back to life, I'm open for business. And that's when people saw that they could push through their fear and say yes. Plus, the thing I will tell you is, when we're exploring franchising, we have the benefit of talking to other franchisees. So you're not just going to take the franchisor's word at how much money you can make or when you can break even. You're going to go out and you're going to interview other franchisees who had the courage, took the plunge, and are now running the business. And so their validation right now is the most critical when these nervous candidates are like, why should I invest in a business when so many other businesses may be closing? But people in those franchises are saying, well, because I'm still open, because the leadership has been phenomenal and they've done X, Y, and Z. They reduced our royalty. They got rid of our royalty. They switched our offering to an online opportunity. And the candidates hear that, they're like, wow. So now is actually an exceptional time to be looking at franchising, because anybody can make their business sound good and look good when the world is good. But it's really hard to cover your flaws or your lack of leadership in a time like this.
So when people come to you, are they realistic about what franchising is? I mean, are there people you turn away? How do you decide if someone is not a good candidate? Are there people who are not good candidates?
Sure, that's a fair question. The only person that would not be qualified for my process is if they just don't have enough money. But listen, I host a lot of live events. I love an audience. And so when I'm in front of my audiences, I always say, if this message has inspired you, please reach out to me. I am going to help you understand what every franchise business costs and why. So let's set this up before you tell yourself you can't afford to do it. Let me give you the facts, because even if you decide after I've set it up for you that now isn't the right time, you're going to leave here knowing when the right time to call me back is. So you've left here more knowledgeable. But many times people assume it costs millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's not necessarily true either. There are franchise businesses that are $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And then of course there are businesses that are, millions of dollars. But the average person I'm helping is not putting millions of dollars into a business, because the average person doesn't have millions of dollars.
Well, I can see that. And I would assume that there's also a way to arrange for financing, and there's all kinds of different programs that are available, providing the person has good credit and a good history. There's definitely ways to finance these purchases as well, I would assume.
Absolutely. I'm not the financial expert, but in order for me to help the amount of people that I help, I have all the friends at all the right places. So I would lead my candidates to the people that all they do is fund franchise businesses. And that's another point about right now. I mean, the government loves to incentivize people to dream and to start businesses. They provide so many tax advantages to small business. There's, in addition to the PPP money that's available for businesses that are open, to continue their payroll, there's a whole separate set of money for people that still have the desire to start a business during this COVID time. Because, I mean, small business stimulates local economies. They pay taxes, they create jobs. So the government wants to incentivize people to keep dreaming, even during these most difficult times. So it definitely takes a little bit of a hardy investor right now. But listen, even my self-proclaimed scaredy cats, I have a great testimonial on my website from a guy. I helped him. He started in during COVID, and he signed a franchise agreement. And he said the testimonial starts, "Kim Daly saved my life." And we joked about how in his first email to me, he said, "I'm a self-proclaimed scaredy cat, and I don't know that I can do it at this time." And within 6 weeks, I had him confident not just to say yes to one, but he signed a 3-store deal with a fitness franchise, a business that at the time he signed wasn't even open because he couldn't be open because of COVID. So my process works. That's why I'm passionate about what I do. I love to help people. I love to help women because women can make amazing business owners. Not that men don't make great business owners too, but I think women bring a more nurturing side, possibly a stronger HR side, just more compassion to their business and to their employees and to their customers. And what's really fun is to put women into like a man's kind of a business, like a trade, because most of the decision makers in a homeowner situation, like a project that might be going on at home, most of the decision makers are women. And I know as a single mom and a homeowner, I would much more trust a woman giving me a quote than I sometimes do a man, right? No offense to my men, but you know what I'm saying. So, and women can sell to women, I think, in a different way. So I think it's a great opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity out there for women if they have that desire to want to own their financial future, to want to build a legacy for their kids that they can leave behind. And maybe they're blessed to have a spouse that has a great paying job and can provide the steady income and the benefits. And that would give them the opportunity to kind of dabble with a business and turn it into something that could potentially change their the entire family's future.
So how do you select the right franchise for someone? I mean, do you look at their background, their interests, their skills, their finances, their goals, but how do you know that you're doing the right thing? I mean, do you give them a choice of 2 or 3? Do you just recommend one? How do you go about selecting the franchise for the person?
Perfect question. So yes, we build a model. We go through a 2-step process where I'm gathering data. I'm looking at you professionally, personally, and financially. So my matching process is probably 1 part science and 2 parts relationship. At the end of the day, as I've already said, when you invest in a franchise, you're buying people. So I sometimes match my candidates to, if they're strong Christians, I know that these franchisors are Christian-led cultures. I might make a match based on that. And of course, the business characteristics have to align. Sometimes if I know I have a military person and I know that the CEO of the organization was former military, I might make a connection based there because people will find where they find a culture again that they feel inspired by and that they can believe in. That's where they're going to find a home that they feel they can become this business owner in most safely. So the matching process for me is based more on that. But tactically, how we go about it is a 2-step process, a questionnaire, and then an in-depth consultation where I spend about 90 minutes with people over the phone and their spouses to really figure out their motivations, their biggest fears, to educate them about what businesses cost and why, to talk about risk tolerances, to talk about building to sell or building to leave as a legacy for your family. So once I've gathered all this data, then I go and do the research and I come back with my top 3 to 5 options. So I'm not telling them what's the best one for them. I'm just giving options that match this model that we've built. And then I'm going to coach them through the due diligence process so that they know they're asking the right questions. I'm going to challenge their thought process, trying to keep them open-minded and learning to be curious, Many times people want to rush. I equate this whole thing to kind of a courtship leading to a marriage. And it's the franchisor's opportunity to award to you before it's your business to buy. So they have to ask for your hand in marriage. So it's a mutual evaluation process. And I'm coaching my candidates to know what are the right questions and who to talk to and how to be the kind of candidate that a franchisor wants to wrap their arms around and say, we want you. Do you want us? And I do that over about a 1 to 2 month process for people. That's about how long it takes me to get them competent. And I always say I have two goals: to make you competent, so you've done proper due diligence that you can feel confident in your final decision. Most people in my process who are going to figure out that this is not the right time for them or franchising just isn't the right investment for them usually figure that out within about 1 to 2 weeks. And again, that's just 18 years of experience and really kind of front loading those first couple of steps so people get up the learning curve very quickly. Once we have a firm foundation on why we're here and I've got their mindset, kind of on what we're going to be focused on and finding the right franchise, not focused on the widget or what they think their community needs, then the back half of the process where we explore goes a lot smoother and can move pretty efficiently.
So have you ever had a situation where, you've looked at everything and the person is perfect, and they want to do it and the franchisor has turned them down?
Unfortunately, yes. So sometimes I have to play big time I am the daily coach. So I have to play big time coach and pick their egos up off the floor and kind of brush them off and say it's going to be okay. And then other times people are just grateful for the honesty, because the way we look at it, and I prep them on this beforehand, is look, if they don't think you're a good fit for their organization, they might have saved you a lot of money and a lot of heartache. So don't take it as rejection. Let's take it as a learning experience from whatever feedback they'll give to us as to why they didn't think you were a good fit. And let's use that and apply that to another organization. I had one guy who got turned down by one company and was really big about it. And he had a second company kind of that he liked, but he thought he liked the other company better. Well, he was looking at a single unit with the company that turned him down. When we got him re-engaged with the other company, he ended up moving forward with a 3-store deal. And he was so happy that the first company had said no to him, because he knew that he found a better company for him in the end. So it's just about learning. It's about staying open. And this is why I have a business, to help people not just know the process, but to help them know kind of like what they're doing and to look at their goals and their vision, like the bigger picture, not just like selecting a business to invest in. And I don't know if I've said this yet, but all of my services are 100% free for my candidates. So they never have to pay me any money for all the work that I'll do for them and with them to help them say yes or no.
So you're getting paid by the franchisor.
Correct. I do all the dirty work for the franchisor. Yeah. I do all the prospecting and getting people in the right place mentally, financially qualified, matching them up to a territory that's viable and available. And of course, the most important thing is finding the candidates that have the right profile, that have the skills that that particular franchise requires for success.
So do people come to you first, or does the franchisor say go out hunting? Or, how do people find you? How do they know to come to you?
Well, through podcasts like this, hopefully listeners that are listening to this, I host live events. I work through business groups, outplacement groups, career transition centers. I'm very active on social media, LinkedIn particularly. I am 100% word of mouth referral, other than my live events, because I've helped so many people, and I am not shy about asking my good people that I work with. They're my best salespeople. And inevitably, everybody knows somebody at some point in their life who gets laid off, is looking for options, or just has always expressed an interest in owning a business, but didn't ever really know how to start or how to find the right business. And so I just get referrals. Like over the weekend, it was a good sign for me. I got 3 referrals from past candidates over the weekend, which is how it used to be before COVID. So it's been a little bit slower which is understandable. People are just kind of sheltering in place and we're all sheltered in our mind. But that paralyzed place where we were is starting to lift a little bit, and people are starting to look up and get back to life in the new normal. And that includes following their dreams to take control of their financial future.
So where can they find you, Kim? Give them your website. I don't know if you have a gift for anybody, but how can people reach you?
Okay, well, the free gift for me always is the free consultation. My time is free. I will help anybody who wants to know what franchising is and how it could benefit them. Do not hesitate to call me. I am always available. If you would like to see my library of franchising and business coaching videos, read blogs, testimonials, newsletters, all of that can be found at my website, which is thedalycoach.com. And that's a play on my last name, Daly, thedalycoach.com.
Okay, so if you want to connect with Kim and you want a free consultation to find out if you're ready for franchising and if there's anything that appeals to you, go to the Daly, Daly coach.com. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, go to spunkyoldbroad.com. My courses are listed at sobuniversity.com. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group, it's free. It's the Virtual SOB Club. So you can go to Facebook and find that. Kim, this has been delightful. I hope that people get in touch with you. I hope that I had tried franchising at one point because I had a chain of career schools and I had some really unhappy experiences, not with people who bought them, but the franchisor itself, the person helping me put this together. So sorry I didn't know you then, but I'm sure you do a fantastic job. So,
You're a great interviewer. You asked some really, really great questions. I appreciate the opportunity to share my knowledge and to be a part of your show because I watched listened to several episodes and love all of your interviews. I love all of your media. Oh my gosh, you're all over the news. I watched every single clip that you have on your website and just smiled and laughed and love your spunky old broad thing and your strong and brave or however else you spun that. I'm like, this woman's got it going on. So you're awesome.
well, thank you, Kim. And again, remember, if you want to find out more about Kim Daly, go to the Daly, Daly coach.com. Thanks so much for being with us, Kim.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
Hi, this is Dr. Gayle, and I wanted you to know I have a whole bunch of other things to offer you. If you go to spunkyoldbroad.com, you will see an array of SOB stuff for sale and all our latest products and additions. If you're interested in getting on TV, I have a brand new course, Get on TV. And if you want to start your own business, you'll want my SOB Guide to Business Success. I know you'll love them all. I guarantee it.
Thanks for listening to Women in Business. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you have any suggestions as to who you'd like me to have as a guest, just email me at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. Be sure to check out www.sob6tips.com. And in the meantime, go to www.spunkyoldbroad.com to see the resources I have for you.